A disrespectful dodge. Been married 16 years. The issue is, I messed up. I was texting another woman I worked with for about a year. The texts were naughty, no pics involved. I never wanted to hook up or meet up with this other woman. Texts were only sent while we're at work, didn't send any while at home or with my wife. I personally thought this woman was just a friend and we were joking around. I got fired for the text, using company phone. Wife worked at same place with me, she of course found out. I let work show her the texts. Thought this would show her I'm not hiding it anymore. Well, I moved out of house for a few weeks, moved back in and we started going to counseling. After a month of that she decided she can't forgive me and I have moved out again. We are talking about a dissolution but I really do not want one. I want to work on this but she says she has been unhappy for a very long time. 1 week after I moved out this second time she has started going to another man's house. She works with this man. I know I messed up, we have one son and I want you keep this family together. She told me she wants out, but I want to fight and try. Should I just accept this or keep fighting? I tried to move back in about a week ago and was met with some very harsh language and being hit by her. I was calm the whole time and never raised my voice. I will not have my son around that, ever. So, what to do? Move in and fight or stay away for my son? I am working on myself, going to gym, more time with other family, trying to make new friends. It seems lots of opinions. I admit I truly messed up, all my fault. I let work show her the text messages. There was never anything physical or pictures, that's the truth. Most of the texts were stupid images. It betrayed her trust and was disrespectful. And crap, I know that. I moved out so she could think, but 3 days after I move out, she's at this guy's house. I don't blame her. I still get my son 4 or 5 days a week and he's my main focus. My son tried calling his mother last night and she didn't answer her phone. I'm pretty sure she was at this guy's house. Just seems crappy to ignore your son. He asked me where she could be. I told him I didn't know. I'm not about to tell him mom's out with some new guy. We both have issues from our childhood. I'm not looking for pity or anything. Guess I just need to get it all out. She's still going to counseling. Our relationship wasn't all sunshine and rainbows. She's moved out twice before. We patch things up and tread forward. It's true, you don't know what you got till it's gone. I just hope through my stupidity, one person can learn from my mistake. I own up, I admit I messed up. Oh, no consequences and was married. I even apologized to her, told her I thought we were just joking around. Obviously, my wife doesn't care what people at work think or she would not have jumped right from me to another guy at work. We used to make fun of people like that and then we both become that. I am working on myself. This is my lowest low. I have nowhere to go but up. It like a light has come on in my heart and head. I see things a lot differently now. Now I need to figure out dissolution or divorce. We have a house, 2 cars and a child. What really sucks is, I still love my wife. A lot. I know how I could text another woman and love my wife. I made a decision to do what I did. It was a very bad one. What's strange, and I know most of you won't believe, but I had no feelings for the woman I was texting. She is 20 years older than me and I have determined I was just looking for some kind of attention. I don't have many friends and I thought this woman was one. The talk in our office between 5 or 6 people was always perverted and I let that carry over into these texts. That's no excuse, I'm just explaining. It's like I disassociated the woman from the texts. I would send a text, get a reply and laugh. It's like I could have been texting a chatbot and get the same feeling. My choices have ruined my life but I was hoping to work through this. What happened is the best and worst thing to ever happen to me. Worst cause I lost my wife, best because it has opened my mind and heart to the person I was, and I will never be that man again. I get it, I do. We had problems long before this but for some reason both of us chose not to address or fix the problems. I wasn't the only one not giving attention. My wife has a whole backstory that I don't need to share. I believe I was missing something from our marriage and so was she. I know what I did was wrong. I'm still trying to figure out why I did it as I did not want anything physical from the woman, believe it or not. My actions were childish and immature. That doesn't change what I did, I know that. I'm completely in the wrong. I see stories of couples going through infidelity, surviving and having a better relationship. I wish I was one of those stories. People change, my up has changed me, and while it may not be the way I wanted it to happen, it has happened. The only denial I am in is losing my wife. I know she's gone and it's my fault. If I would have felt in the past, the way I do now, I wouldn't be here. Marriage is hard, sometimes it takes work I didn't put in. Nothing I can do now but learn from my bad choices and move forward. I would love to reconcile and be the husband I should have been, but that's not my choice. Update: I'm still not living at home. Things are weird right now and I'm just lost, tired, mentally and physically. My wife, 2 weeks ago, has said that it's done, between her and the other guy, but her reason was strange. It was because they have too much going on right now. He has a son in the hospital and my wife has our issues plus her mother is sick. So, I'm not sure how to take that. If it's done, shouldn't it be because she's still married? 2 weekends ago she said she was going out with girlfriends. I found out she spent the night at the other guy's house, again. She swears they haven't had slept together, but I find that hard to believe. When I ask, she gets angry. The day after this, our family went to school shopping and had a good day, no arguing. We got along well. On the drive home, she was holding my hand, and when we got home, we hugged a lot. She kissed my neck but apologized. Our son saw us and gave us both a big hug. This weekend, she texts me to bring pizza over and have dinner with them. While this seems like a step in the right direction, it still feels strange. I want to hug and kiss and touch her, but it seems like she doesn't want that. To me, it feels like she's upset about not being with the other guy, and if she did anything with me, she would feel like she's cheating on him. 3 weeks ago, we talked about dissolution or divorce. We both want the house, so that means divorce. She has offered not to touch my retirement if I let her keep the house if we get a dissolution. But all that was before we spent time together. 2 days ago, she said she was skipping her therapy to go out with friends this week. I asked if it was to go out with friends or to see the other guy. Of course, she got mad and told me again that it was done with him. She said she's tired of arguing with everyone and needs to make herself happy before making anyone else happy, which I agree. It's been 6 months since this all started. While I feel I have made great strides in my personal development, she seems to have not. Should I give her an ultimatum? I was thinking to tell her we either work on us, go to marriage counseling. She can still go to her as well and I go to mine for 3 months. We can do the therapy and stay with it, but we must start with no lies and being open. She needs to confess if she has slept or done anything dirty with the other man. If she doesn't want to do that, then I give her the dissolution she wants and walk away. Yesterday I did offer to give her the dissolution she wanted because she said she was tired as well. This was done through text. She never replied to it. I feel if she truly wanted out, she would have filed or approached me with some kind of dissolution offer. Why hasn't she? She keeps telling me to work on myself and continue my therapy, which I am. I feel like a different person, a better person. Maybe I don't deserve her. Maybe what I did cannot be forgiveness, but if so, why is she playing these games with me? Maybe not games, but it seems she gives me just enough hope to keep hanging on. She isn't telling me how she feels about me at all. Does she hate me, want to be with me? Thanks for all the comments, some helpful, some rude. I probably deserve them. I feel 20 years together, with ups and downs, and a child deserves a true 110% try to fix and mend. If we do that and it doesn't work, then I can let go and move on. We have both talked to attorneys. Where we live is no-fault divorce, so adultery has no bearing on anything. Yes, we're married, but we are separated. What she did is wrong, just like what I did was wrong. I suppose I know what I need to do, it's just so hard to do it. I don't want to lose my house or half my retirement. While this isn't all about material things, I don't want to end up with nothing. It's just so strange that 20 years with someone can end. I'm sure many people go on and have great lives and second marriages, but that is so hard to picture. It's hard to explain it all, the past we have, the things we've done and been through. So, to just give up on it. Some of you people make it seem so easy, and part of me feels sad for you. My situation and therapy have really opened my mind and heart to things. We didn't really try at our marriage, and now I want to do that. We were both unhappy at times, but we never explored why and tried to fix it. Now we can, if she's willing. I know you think I have no self-respect, and I admit, I didn't used to, or respect for anyone else for that matter. I know my life can be good without her, but I can see a life that's great with her. They say love is blind, and right now I'm still in love with my wife, so I can't see anything. My comment: your wife thought the marriage was over, so she didn't care if she started fooling around. You thought the marriage was ongoing, but you screwed around. Big difference. Your statements are full of minimizations. Your statement that you both have to be honest is hypocritical. Now that it benefits you, you should both be honest. But you lied and hid your actions when lying and hiding benefited you. Your wife is confused. Not as much as you, but confused, nonetheless. One day she feels one thing, the next, another. That's because she never wanted to leave the marriage until you put a fork in it. You can keep your narrative together if you want, but I'm pretty sure it will hurt your goal rather than help it. Every time you open your mouth with those things to your wife, you hurt your chances of saving that marriage. It takes two people to fix a relationship. Your cheating wife is just stringing you along until the son is better. Then she will see if he is still interested in her. No way she spent the night with him twice without having bonding. Get a lawyer and protect yourself. Go after her for kicking you out of the house. Get the best lawyer you can find. One that is willing to fight for you, not one that just goes through the motions. Story 2. I really just need to rant here tonight. My husband drives me nuts, no matter what happens. Whether it be an argument or just him being an ass, he always dictates when it's time for me to shut up. Tonight, for example, he asked me to bring a drink into our daughter. I was busy and asked if he could run one up to her. He does, then comes back and gets angry with me because he is tired. I'm tired too. He says whenever we are both tired, he is always the one who has to concede and get up. First of all, that's bull crap. I'm pregnant, have a 7-year-old with ADHD, and a 1-year-old who hasn't slept since the day he was born. I'm always the one responsible to take care of him through the night, and I'm up almost every night. I'm lucky if I get 3 or 4 hours in a night. Lucky, and I do more than my fair share of household duties. Whenever he is irritated with me, he jumps from the one incident and extrapolates it. If he changes more diapers than me one day, he will guaranteed say to me later that he always does all the diaper changes. Then after my feelings were hurt, I get a few minutes to try and talk with him, then he just looks at me and says drop it. If I say I don't want to because I'm not done talking, he then proceeds to tell me that I talk about stuff too much and can't let things go. Trust me, if I couldn't let things go, I wouldn't still be married to him. If he decides he wants to talk now, he will end up telling me to drop it again in 2 minutes flat. I can't count the number of times he says, "Talk to me, babe, what's wrong?" Followed by him getting irritated and telling me to give it up. He drives me crazy, but that's only one part of him. I wouldn't dream of leaving him over it though. Can't throw away 10 years because of this issue. I knew what he was like when I married him, and he is ridiculously slowly working on himself. For me, marriage is for life. When one thing stops working, you sort it out. May take some time, sure, but I know I'll get through to him eventually. He's just a hard-headed bastard that I love. What I want for my kids, for them to resent us. Seriously though, he is working on himself. It's slow going, but I won't discredit the work he has put into bettering himself. He was worse before and is working on his issues. No one is perfect, I'm no exception. He loves me and our children and puts effort in despite its slow-to-change nature. And our children are never privy to our issues. Is he childish? Hell yeah, but less than before. We are pretty damn young, so I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. But I get what you're saying all the same. There is definitely a power struggle here, and Lord knows I could do with some respite from the madness. Maybe for the short run it would be worth it. Give him no reason to get snotty, and when he does, shut him down quick. But long term, no way. He's either in it with me 100% or 0%. I'm 26, he's 28. Been together since we were teenagers. Had my first child when I was still a teen. So, we had to grow up hard and quick. That being said, he stood by me through it all. 10 years later we are still together and married, going on 5 years. Few years later, we have been together for 13 years and married for over half of those years. He was always the laid-back one and I was the uptight one. We balanced each other well. But for the last year my husband is becoming this insufferable moody coward. Especially since our youngest child was born, 7 months old. He is constantly complaining about our messy house, and our life, and our money, and our kids, and our dog, and me. Sure, the house is not in tip-top shape. We have 3 kids and a husky, and our baby refuses to sleep, so I'm super tired. But it's just clutter, toys, and the like. I'm trying my best. And yes, life got more hectic after our third was born, but that's not an excuse to start mistreating your family. He stomps around the house cursing and complaining. He is forever yelling at our 4-year-old and being a trash dad, and if I try to talk to him, he yes dear or my name while rolling his eyes and dismisses me. For the last 7 months, this turd of a man has dismissed everything I have said. I'm about to lose it and it won't be pretty. Like, I told him to stop cursing at our son and he gave me a thumbs up. I'm going to snap soon. I don't like the way he is treating our middle child, and I don't know what to do. I don't want to leave him. I do love him, at least I did. I'm so confused. How can someone stay with someone who dismisses their every thought? What the hell do I do because I can't handle another day like this? What is happening to my husband? My spouse has anxiety issues as well, though he doesn't even realize it. And nothing has changed. Well, with the exception of the baby being born. But I don't get why that would make him change so much. I even do all overnight duty so my husband gets a solid night's sleep every night, even the weekends. He is just unpleasant to be around and acts like a child if I talk to him. Finances are a bit tight, but all of our bills are paid on time and everyone is clothed and fed with a little left over. The kicker, he is one of the biggest sources of mess in our house. Nothing he uses makes it to a garbage. He will leave wrappers and things in the counter despite having to pass a garbage on the way out of the kitchen. His used dishes remain where he sat and ate, etc. Then he freaks out when the house is a damn mess. But he refuses to amend his own behavior that makes him upset. And our kids, aside from our first, have all been planned and had at times when he was on board and excited. I'm sorry for him, but he can't just create a large family, make a goddamned mess, and then get pissed about a large family and mess. My husband is the type of man that needs daily me time as well, and I respect and honor that. He is a busy guy that stresses easily, so I never push for his me time, which he gets every day. Some days we hardly speak because once the day ends and the kids are in bed, he's doing his own thing for hours while I deal with the million wake-ups our baby does. We have talked at length and it's the same as it always is. He apologizes for his behavior, reminds me of my failings as a parent, then apologizes again. But nothing ever changes. Well, I found out why, at least part of why. He has been acting like he is frustrated with his whole life. He's back to spending hours a day poring over dirty sites. This has been a huge issue for our marriage and I nearly divorced him over it 2 years ago. He watches it, expects me to act like his stars do, then gets visibly bored, frustrated that I'm not as good as he expected it to be. I can't believe I didn't see this. Our bonding life has dropped like a rock again, and now I know why. I could feel a shift in him, but my stupid ass trusted a pathological liar. 2 years of him avoiding it and working on us, 2 damn years, and now I'm back to feeling paranoid. I'm getting too damn old to deal with this stupid crap. I don't get why he is still with me. He clearly doesn't respect my feelings. And before anyone tells me everyone watches videos and I should be fine with it, save your breath. I am not fine with it. Pain is pain, and I have tried so many times to accept it as a part of my life, relationship, so I could move forward, but I can't. Like it or not, it hurts me. I feel totally betrayed, like I've been cheated, and no amount of telling me I shouldn't make the pain stop. I don't know if I can go through this again. I honestly don't know what I'm going to do. I found out late last night and my son woke up a couple hours later vomiting. I've been preoccupied. I feel like I'm an idiot if I stay, but I want to believe there is hope. He used to be my best friend. Imagining a life without him seems wrong. But maybe that just makes me pathetic. My heart hurts. It's been 2 years since his last time, but it's definitely not his second time. He has done this to me dozens of times in the past, but he always kept it up. I thought the last time 2 years ago was different because I wanted a divorce and was following through. It was rough, but for the first time he seemed genuine, and I can spot a snake for miles. Then over 2 years of 100% honesty and open devices and zero issues. Then out of the blue he started again 2 weeks ago, and I caught him last night. Normally in the past he would lie and deny until I was losing my mind, but last night he looked me in the face and was straight with me, said he messed up, and hates himself for it. He has never fessed up to it willingly before. A part of me wants to forgive him, and an equal part of me doesn't want to go through the torturous journey back to trust just for him to crush it on a whim again in the future. I'm frozen. I'm scared. I'm hurt, and I'm longing for the man I once had. I feel like my head is going to explode. I know I'm grasping. It's the desperation to hold on to my marriage. I definitely need to wait until I call down to decide what's going to happen for sure. We were supposed to move in the near future far away from my family for work and my master's degree. Things were going so well between us. We had made huge plans together that we are in the middle of, so all of this throws a massive wrench into everything and adds so many confusing elements. He spends hours every day at it, and then become disappointed with our physical life. I told him point blank I wanted a divorce last time and I got my affairs in order. But we worked through it slowly and painfully. I think before it he didn't respect how serious I was. And it stopped for the first time for over 2 years. Until 2 weeks ago. I have asked him over and over why, and he doesn't know why. I honestly think he has a real, actual compulsion about it. It's been a rough few days. But duck me, I still love the prick. I have called off our move across country. He knows how serious this is. I still don't know if I can stay with him. I've told him I need time. I hate how hard everything must always be. I have done all I can. I cannot force him to honor me and our marriage. I cannot force him to work on himself and amend his behaviors, and I can't force him to try. That's been the hardest part. Having zero control over whether or not he throws out our 13-year relationship. He knows this is it. There is no more forgiveness left in me, but I find myself distancing myself from him, to be ready in case he continues with his bull crap. I don't trust him, and it's killing me. I simply don't want to let myself feel safe because of how many times he's repeated the same crap. I feel ready to move on if it comes to that. My comment, of course, you don't trust him. He has done nothing to show you that he is trustworthy. In fact, he has shown you that you can't trust him. Don't try to trust someone, ever. If you have to try, something is wrong. Either he's trustworthy or not. It's not your job to try to trust him when he has blown it. Trying to feel safe in an unsafe situation is unsafe. You are not safe with this man. The only way you ever will be is if he does the work to repent, but that is going to be a lot of work, because he's going to have to face what's inside of him and resolve it. None of this is within your control. It's way too early to even be thinking about trust. There is none. There is actually distrust, which is perfectly fine and normal. He earned your distrust. That is the position that he has to work from if he wants to ever have a happy marriage. Story 3. My wife and I have been married for 12 years and have 2 young children. We live in the state that we met in and that I grew up in. She grew up 3 states away but has been here since the late 82nds. Recently I have been looking for a new job after 10 plus years at my current one. We are also in the process of moving to a different school district in the same county we live in now. My wife has her parents, a sibling and several aunts, uncles and cousins living back in her home state. Since we were already looking to move and I was looking for a new job, she thought it would be a great idea for us to move back to her home state. The problem is I don't want to move to her home state. I grew up where we live now and still have 2 siblings living here. I love it here and the rest of my family does too. She believes that having our children grow up closer to their grandparents and other family members is a good thing, and I agree. But I don't want to live there. Nothing against her family as I love them all. I am the breadwinner and she is a stay-at-home mom. So, the move would impact not just where we live but would affect where I work. There aren't nearly as many jobs where she's from than there are where we live now. I find nothing appealing about the town she wants to move to. The problem is that she set her heart on moving home without getting my input. When she asked me about moving, I told her I was apprehensive but would give it a shot and look for a job there. We were running up on the deadline for selling the house and moving, so the window was small. But I submitted my resume to 7 to 8 companies and contacted several recruiters to see about any positions open. I still haven't been able to get a face-to-face interview. Because of this issue, we have had some of the worst arguments ever, screaming and berating like we have never seen from each other. My thought is that this decision should have been a joint decision between the two of us, not one where she rams the move down my throat. Last night we were discussing it yet again and it got heated. I just flat out told her I don't want to move there. She said, well, I do. So, I got up from the dinner table in a rage and she stood up at the same time and shoved me. She had never raised her hand at me like that, and I have never touched her in anger in any way. So, this is where we are. Am I so wrong in not wanting to move back to her hometown? Shouldn't it be a decision we both make as a couple? I told her I was apprehensive but that I would give it a shot. She first brought it up early Jan this year and we only had a few months before putting our house on the market, so the window to make this happen is small. She wanted me to quit my job and then we'd move and then I could find a job after we got there. But I would never quit a job without already having another lined up. And supporting our family on one income means I have to have a 6-figure job to make ends meet. It's not easy finding those jobs, especially in a much smaller town. I didn't tell her definitively that I would move. I told her I would give it a shot and try to find a job there so we could move. I was totally unwilling to move without first finding a job. I was upfront about my reservations about moving there, but out of respect for her I said I would try. That hasn't been good enough for her. The urgency is there because we were already planning on putting the house up for sale and moving to another school district in the country we're in now. So, her thought was, why not move back home since we're moving anyway? Once we have a contract on our house, we have to find a new one. That's the urgency. It's just been exacerbated with the additional, hey, let's move back home thing. We are going to see a marriage counselor in a few weeks as this will never be resolved by itself. The thing I don't understand is the level of anger on her part. I've never seen her like this. She is a good person and I've always said she has a heart the size of Texas. She admits that once she gets something in her mind and her heart set on it, she runs with it. Part of the problem is the medication she is on. She takes many on a daily basis for various reasons. One is an antidepressant because of other medications, and she admits it can make her angrier than she normally would be. Boy, does it ever. Her reasons for wanting to move are that we would be closer to her family and our young children will see more of her parents. Mine are deceased. She is furious that I don't see all these advantages. I have acknowledged that yes, being closer to our kids' grandparents is a good thing. But I don't have a job there and really don't want to live there anyway. She said on the phone today that it's my turn just as someone mentioned earlier in this thread. But she at least has some family here whereas I have no family back in her home state. My gut tells me she isn't looking for a divorce yet. If that were the case, she wouldn't care if I wanted to move to her hometown or not, and she clearly does want me there, hence all the arguing. Plus, if she were to divorce me, she would have to go back to work outside the home as she is current a stay-at-home mom. Our marriage was fine before this came up. It wasn't perfect, but it wasn't anything close to being this chaotic. Physical life could use some improving, but it wasn't a huge issue. Her parents aren't ill, they are in really good health. I don't know if she has suddenly gotten in touch with old schoolmates or not, but with social media that's usually a given anyway. Don't know about any men she is corresponding with. It would be foolish for me to quit my job without having another one lined up, especially when you consider that I am the breadwinner in the family and would thus have to live on savings for at the very least several months. And I refuse to put myself in that kind of pressure cooker where the urgency to find a new job is higher. My wife has been very happy living where we live now. She has some family here and many friends. She was already living here since the late 1980 when I met her, so it's not like I drug her here to live in my home state. Conversely, moving to her home state would mean me moving someplace where I have no family and no friends. Not the same at all. To give you an idea of the amount of rage my W has, I found a Valentine's Day card in our kitchen just now. We had the biggest argument of all Monday this week, the day before VD. Needless to say, we didn't exchange cards. But when I saw the card in the kitchen, it was torn in half and sitting on the counter, to me, a clear intention for me to see it. My comment: this is emotional blackmail and she is getting angrier by the day. I think you need to get her to go back to her doctor and get her medication adjusted because this anger, emotional and physical abuse is escalating. Please be very careful around her, maybe consider carrying a VAR on you or having your phone set to record at all times. I can't stress this enough, if she accuses you of assault then any cop who arrives will make you leave the home. No cop will take the risk of spousal homicide or serious assault. If this happens and you have proof of her threatening to or actually assaulting you, then she may be forced to leave. It is an unfair situation, but it is what it is. Be very careful around her.